Hey friends, my name is Gabby and welcome to my channel, and today I want to talk to you about imagination and using your imagination for good. But first of all, I want to tell you a little story. So growing up between ages 8 to 12, I had a group of friends and we used to play outside almost every single day. Especially during summer holidays, we were outside every single day and we're playing football and basketball, and we would invent all these different games. And there was this boy that was part of my group of friends, and he had an incredible imagination, but also he was really good at just drawing, painting, and doodling. But nevertheless, he had a really incredible imagination, and we used to play this game where we would pretend to be different X-Men characters. So we would all pick an X-Men character, and then we would just, battle against each other and run around like crazy, pretending we have all these different superpowers, and we were fully immersed in this world. And the thing with imagination is when you really, really fully commit yourself to it, there isn't a difference between if it was actually happening in real life or if you were just pretending like it is happening. So every time we were playing outside, I would pretend like I can control the weather, and especially if it was raining and there was thunder and lightning, I would, imagine like I am the one controlling the weather. And the thing is, I didn't need to actually be somebody who has the superpower of being able to control the weather, because I was living it. I was fully in it, and my imagination took over, and I was having an experience of it really happening. So when we use our imagination, whether for the good or for the bad, we are fully experiencing the events as if they were to happen right now, as if they were happening right at this moment. And when you think about things like, law of attraction, manifestation, visualizing is a really big part of it. But also when it comes just to the psychology of it and the science behind visualizing, a lot of athletes do it because visualizing in great detail with full commitment actually makes your brain think that you are going through the motions in real life. So for example, Michael Phelps, his coach would make him visualize every single day his perfect race, but then he would make him visualize all the different things that could go wrong. And in one of the Olympic Games, he actually jumped into the water and his goggles weren't like fully fit, and water started going into the goggles, which means that he was swimming and he couldn't see. But the thing is, he didn't freak out because he's gone through this scenario in his mind so many times. Even though it never happened in real life, he's done it in his mind so many times. When it happened on an actual race day, he was totally calm, and he actually ended up hitting a world record. So imagination is a really, really powerful tool. And the reason I wanted to tell you this story about, from my childhood is because growing up, with my friends and me as well, imagination was phenomenal, and you didn't need the actual superpowers, you didn't need the actual things to make yourself feel and make yourself live as if you have them right now, because imagination was such a powerful thing. And the reason I'm bringing up imagination right now is I visualize every single evening when I go to bed. I go through different scenarios of whether it's something that I want or something that I'm currently working on, or something that I would like to create in the future. I put myself in that position and I visualize, and I really put so much detail and effort into it, and I begin to experience it as if it was happening right now. The reason why I wanted to talk to you about imagination is because most of the time we all have great imaginations. And I know it's more difficult for some people, to visualize or imagine things, but it's actually a skill that you can develop further. But most of us use our imagination for the negative and the bad versus the positive. So for example, you get an email from your boss saying, hey Katie, this is urgent. Can you please come into my office at this time because I need to have a chat with you. This is really important. Depending on your relationship with your boss, and there are so many different variables. Let's say that you're somebody that feels that you're not really quite good enough, or you're a little bit intimidated more by people in higher status in the company. So if you get that email and let's say you have the meeting the following day, you're gonna go home and most likely you're going to begin imagining a scenario that could play out. And a scenario could be that, you know, you're gonna go in there, he's gonna find out that the last project that you did, you actually messed something up, and now it like kind of all these different sequences of like events started happening because of that one mistake that you made, and then he's gonna tell you how disappointed he is in you, and then you're gonna be fired, and in your head you're going down this like catastrophic thinking, you're going down this rabbit hole of, oh my god, I'm gonna be fired, but you know, my rent is so high and I don't have any savings, and then like I'm gonna be homeless and I'm gonna have to move in with my parents, and you begin to get anxious, you begin having practically a panic attack because you are experiencing your boss firing you as if it was happening right now when it's not happening. That's imagination. So whether it's me imagining that I'm an X-Men character and I can control the weather and thunder and rain, you imagining and beginning to live right now as if your boss is firing you is your imagination taking over, and your brain doesn't know, you know, whether you're imagining something really with commitment or whether something is happening right now. You're having the physiological reaction of, let's say, hyperventilating, freaking out, your body tenses up, and that would be a reaction that your body would have if the thing was happening actually in real life in that moment. But you start imagining it, and then you're starting to go down this rabbit hole. So your imagination is a really powerful tool, but most often than not, we actually use it to imagine the bad versus the good. And, you know, I feel like it's a very ingrained thing in us, in a society, in the world, when we begin growing up, because children are so free and they have such incredible imaginations. But then we start growing up and people say, stop, you know, being childish, look at reality, like don't look at life through like rose-colored glasses, blah, 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 blah. A lot of things that are intended to mean well, but actually do the opposite. So I want you to just take a moment and reflect, how do you use your imagination? Because you are creating stories in your mind in one way or another. You're either creating really great stories or you're creating really bad stories. Whether it's you going out on dates, not getting accepted into a school or a job that you want, whether it's getting emails from your boss, whether it's communicating with your coworkers, communicating with your family, you know, unexpected events happening. Where do you usually go in your mind? Do you start visualizing the good or the bad? Because that email with the boss, right? Let's say that in reality, you go into that meeting and then your boss says, hey, so sorry to scare you, you know, hopefully I didn't scare you with this urgent email, but the thing is, I just got the results from the last project that you did and it was phenomenal. The whole team is really happy and I want to give you a promotion because of all the, you know, all the hard work that you've been putting in the last couple of years. You're going to be like, oh my God, I didn't expect that this is so good. But that's the thing. We usually gravitate to imagine the bad, imagine the way that things could go wrong versus imagining all the great things that could happen and imagining all these different powerful scenarios. I've made a video about visualization before. I'm gonna link it above, but I just really want you to let me get my words right. I really want you to ask yourself the question of, how are you using your imagination? What are you visualizing? What are you imagining? If you are about to have a difficult conversation, for example, are you imagining in your mind all the ways that it could go wrong? Or are you imagining all the ways that it could go well? So just something for you to think about, something to ask yourself, because our imagination is real powerful. Our imagination affects us, our well-being, our physiology, how we show up in a situation. If you go into a meeting with a story and this scenario in your mind that, oh my God, everybody's gonna hate it, you're going to show up, you know, in a way that you're not gonna be excited and happy, because in your head, everybody hating the presentation has already become so real without it even happening. So you don't actually even need it to happen because you are already experiencing it as if it was happening. So just something for you to think about, something for you to ponder about. Use your imagination for good. When you lay in bed, visualize all the different things that you want to go right and how they could go right. I really, like 10-15 minutes before I fall asleep, this is what I use my time for. I visualize what it is that I want. I visualize the way I want things to go. It's really powerful. So when you lay down in bed and it's quiet time, don't start thinking about all your problems and tomorrow's work. Really use this time to visualize the beautiful stories that you want to create and actually use your imagination for good. So that's all I wanted to share with you today. I hope something spoke to you, perhaps something stood out for you. Especially let me know in the comments below. I would love to connect with you. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you next week. Bye!